Alrighty, welcome everyone to the April 28th, 2026 MicroProfile live Hangout. Link to the meeting minutes is in the chat. Thank you, Emily. And click on the link to get to the meeting minutes, which I will share shortly. And it's everyone's shared responsibilities to take notes. And this recording will find its way to YouTube in the near future. All right, let me share my screen now. All right, confirmation on the screen. All right, thanks, Michael. All right, let's see. Today's agenda, talk about MicroProfile 7.2. The MicroProfile wiki. I don't know, did this get resolved? Did, maybe not. Did Roberto update the Sonatype release process in the wiki? I did not check. The
Uh,
tutorial
I
updates.
yeah, I think that's no longer applicable. I think it's previously is using a different approach. Now Eclipse
Right.
Foundation has this staging repo thing, and then in the 7.2, I think we will need to use put the plugin. I was working on that in the background. I think it's maybe just say the MicroProfile release wiki will need to be updated with the new release process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but this still does have to be updated with the Eclipse Foundation approach, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
So
we'll leave that. In fact, I'll put down Roberto/Emily. Um,
yeah.
all right. So there's that. Those are mostly what I had in mind for today. Oh, sorry. I don't know if I covered them all. MicroProfile 7.2 charter update in terms of 2027 membership fees and the MicroProfile tutorial.
Oh, also the ballot. Are you going to close the ballot
Yeah,
today?
yeah. After today, so I'll probably close it tomorrow
Oh, okay.
because it closed. Yeah, just because it's midnight tonight, West Coast, and then tomorrow
Oh,
I close
okay.
it.
Good.
So,
And also
okay.
you skip
Mhm.
the are you going to talk about tutorial?
Yep.
Yeah, I did. I spent some time yesterday. Did a few PR review on the tutorial. So
Okay, so
it's
we can do that when we get to that
added
section.
some.
Okay.
Sorry,
Sorry,
sorry.
this is just the agenda line items. We can like
Okay.
deep dive into when we get
Oh,
there.
okay. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So.
yeah, yeah. That's the approach I'm trying to take here.
Okay. Okay.
Number one is
So,
the charter update. So one of the things we have to do is update the charter to Euro, and these will not take effect until calendar year 2027. If I recall correctly, they're going to try and basically have January 1st be the start of everyone's contract. So anyone that comes in mid-year would be prorated, right? That's not the case with the past. It would be just a renewal on an annual basis whenever they sign the paperwork. So this will start January 1st. Sharon wants us to get it done, by mid-year because as soon as we start hitting Q3, we start getting into 2027 planning with everything else, right? So it's a busy time in general. So the preference is to get this done by mid-year, right? Now the question is, and plus we're going to have to take this back to our respective organizations, and get buy-off for whatever the change is. So Emily did some work here, and you can kind of see oh, sorry, one last thing. Sharon in a prior conversation said she was going to send me what other working groups have done for conversions, but she said she would do it after she closes the Q1 books, so that was a busy time for her. So I just pinged her to kind of remind her. It's like if she's closed the Q1 books, then maybe should be able to give us some examples of whatever other working groups have done. Okay, so just a little bit. We're not going to make a decision here today, necessarily, but we could discuss the approaches and maybe what we think up to this point is preferable and how to do a conversion. Um, so Emily, I think you kind of came through with the graphic that's on the screen, in black and white. So you want to kind of do an overview of how you came to this conversion?
Yeah, so I use the direct conversion using the current conversion rate. So 1,000, 10,000, 10K dollar equivalent to 8.5K euro. So I dropped
Hmm.
the remaining the digits. So in that case, basically, it works better for this ratio as well because it's 8K, 6K, and 5K, and then the half, the previous half, and then 2.5, and then another half, 1.525. Just trying to roughly keep the ratio, the same ratio as well. So that's
Hmm.
yeah, and also is for the also last year we didn't have time, we didn't have any other things to spend the money on, and we lost basically. We got a remaining money and but the funding, and then we didn't find the time to spend, and then that went away. So
Hmm.
based on that, I think it makes more sense with this figure.
Yeah. I suspect now we could change the fee whenever we wanted to. After we change it, if we find out, well, we need more money because of marketing, whatever,
Yeah,
we
we
can go
can
back and
always
change it
revisit.
again. Hmm.
Exactly. Like next year, if we use this for 2027, in 2028, we need to do a big launch something with that. Maybe we can change the membership fee
Hmm.
again. So this is I will see this is not a done deal. We can revisit yearly basis,
Hmm.
and yeah, so that's we can go from here.
Now, what we do have to do, sorry, I don't have the graphic in front of me, is in the 2020, for the 2026, right? They provided all the fees uh, that the Eclipse Foundation assesses each working group, right? So my guess is we're going to have to meet whatever that number is, right, out of these fees. Um, Technically, we were over budget last year by $4,000, which they said they would eat. But I don't think they'll do that for 2027. So if we're over $4,000 and our budget was $10,000, um, sorry, our marketing budget last year was 10,000. I haven't done the math yet. This is just off the top of my head. Maybe we'll have $6,000 of marketing discretionary spending next year. I don't know. It's going to depend on this, right? The total revenue that we bring in and what's left over, right? So, um, I think, um, for the next go around, maybe for next call, um, Emily and I can do a little bit of math, talk to Sharon about minimum costs, and come back with a number, like based on this graphic, right? Come back with a number that would leave us with, some number of discretionary spending or maybe no number at all, right? Um,
Yeah.
and that's assuming that membership will not change as well. So, um, any comments on conversions? No comments. Okay. All right. So next live hangout, um, Emily and I, like I said, could do some math and get some feedback from Sharon, and as it applies to what we see here, and then we can make adjustments if needed. On the surface, these numbers look fine to me, um, but we'll see.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. And as it comes to the charter updates, I think I mentioned last call that Sharon would actually come to us with all the um, charter updates to comply with all the other Eclipse Foundation changes like bylaws and such, like guest membership, right? You don't have to renew every year. Right now, we according to our charter, we have to renew every year. So that needs to be updated. Um, like they can remain guest members in perpetuity until we vote otherwise, or they voluntarily leave. Okay, and I'll chat with Sharon on that as well. Um, Releases. So you can see here, I've got a link to the current ballots, which the current ballot ends tonight. We do have enough votes plus one, and it's currently scheduled to pass. Um, I did have to go to a second ballot because we didn't have enough votes in the first ballot. Here we have enough. Um, we've gone back and I've been chatting with Sharon. Emily's been chatting with Paul White on what does it mean if not everybody votes, but everybody votes that passes, votes plus one. So you have to have a supermajority. And if you read the Eclipse Foundation spec process, it says you have to have a supermajority, 2/3, of the working group members. Emily reached out to Paul White and he said, well, it's 2/3 of the votes of the people that actually voted. So hypothetically, out of our 9 members, if only 3 vote and 2 vote plus 1, it still passes because it's 2/3 of the people that voted. I don't like that personally, because I kind of think that shows weak participation of MicroProfile, which I'm already worried about, um, as evidenced by this call, as evidenced by the weekly marketing calls. So I would like to encourage more participation. Um, so I guess I'll leave it at that right now. But regardless, it's going to pass no matter how we count the votes this time around. But I guess we only needed 3 people to vote and 2 to vote plus 1. So
So yeah, so John, yeah, after I talked with you, um, and then I looked at the operation guide again. So for the vote. So for the people who do not vote, because this is said, okay, this certainty you should vote. If you give up your vote, you are not counting working towards the supermajority.
so
However,
it's an
John,
abstain. It says de
yeah,
facto abstain.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, abstain or do not vote, they will count. They will be treated as the same. However, John, I read the Eclipse guide, the working group guide, the voting again. There's another phrase, another sentence saying about quorum. He said, uh, for all committees may hold electronic vote for any decisions that would otherwise be taken at a committee meeting. With respect to quorum for electrical votes, quorum is based on all eligible voters when holding a vote. So which means this is I think I need to run past Paul White. But anyway, is not relevant to our vote because we already achieved a supermajority. So which means for the formally vote, even though we said a supermajority, for the formalize this vote, it maybe is also the quorum must be met. So the quorum is different from supermajority. Quorum means if it's even number, so the half is a quorum. If it's odd number, for instance, if it's 10 members, quorum will be 5. If it's 11 members, quorum will be 6. So which means for the vote to be formalized is currently we have nine members. It
Hmm.
sounds like we need to have at least 5 people to vote.
Right.
In these 5 people, and the 5 people must vote. In these 5 people, and then you work out a majority. For example, only 4 vote plus 1 is a pass because this will be the super majority. So it's basically what
I
you
gotcha.
explained
I gotcha.
before. So the 2/3. For instance, 6 people voted, so that be four vote to pass everything. So it's I just want to clarify the in order to formalize the vote, it must be a quorum must be met.
Right. Which is based on working group membership.
Yes. So
Yeah.
basically for
Okay.
us,
Voting
so
membership.
yeah, voting, we have eight non-members plus 1 committee rep with 9. So for the
Hmm.
vote to be formalized, quorum will be 5. So that means 5 people must vote. In these 5 people, we work out a 2/3. Is the
Right.
others will not be count. Yeah.
Right. So it would have to be four because 2/3 is only 60%. So okay.
Yeah, two third would be 4. Yes. So
Okay.
which is the which if it's a 9, 2/3 will be 6.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think with this it makes sense.
Okay. Because right now we have
How many plus ones have we got?
let me pull up I thought I had it. Let me go to thread index. We've got IBM. That's
One,
one,
two,
two,
three, four,
three,
five,
four,
6. We
five,
got a
six.
6.
We got six. Yeah. That's why I said it
Yeah,
passes. Thank you,
already
Alfonso.
passed.
He voted on
Anyway,
the
Yeah,
first
no
round. I
problem.
think he voted on the first round, but I think he forgot the second. He didn't see the
Yeah,
second
I
round
made my
notice.
vote immediately from passing the last session. I immediately made my vote.
Right. And
yeah.
by the way, we can extend the period of a vote up to 30 days as well. So I could have kept extending, hoping to get more voters up to 30 days, in which case it would have failed. All right, so we have so we can move forward with MicroProfile 7.2, which means if it's okay, are we kind of done with the ballot portion then? I was going to bring up the timeline. Uh, Oops, wrong one. Sorry, I have my other browser open right now. I'm trying to find. Here we go. The release tracking dot URL, which I got now. Boom. So let me go back. Darn it. The Zoom bar is right over my address bar. Okay. So we are now technically here. Um, which means, between now and June 11th, we have to work on the actual specs themselves. So, do we all think that this is achievable?
April 27th. I think also this is working on the. Did you have a chat with Roberto on the Quarkus implementation side?
Yeah, everything he said. I'll continue to verify with him. I'll ping him again and said, +1, right? I'm being the compatible implementation.
Okay. Yeah, as long
I've asked
as
him like three or four
not rely
times,
on
but
Liberty to deliver. Okay.
right. But it is good that we stay current. So I
Yeah.
will reach out to him on that.
Okay.
So I think what I'll do is send out a notice to the Google group, basically saying, according to these, spreadsheet, we should be all be working on our specs. Um, and I'm looking for when the actual ballot. Oh, here's the ballots down here. So this is the bomb update. Sorry, let me do it that way. Spec candidate release, and then we'll have the ballots starting July 2nd. So I think it's a good
2nd of July.
idea. Yeah, July 2nd.
Yeah.
Sorry, American here. We're with my Chicago accent, I guess. Sorry, that was before the recording started. So does anyone on the call for the specs they're responsible for or leading think there's any challenges with this timeline? Is this doable still?
I think for Payara is good. Yeah, because we are working on the implementation for MicroProfile 7.1. So after delivering this, we will plan to move to the last version. Yeah.
Okay. So Nathan or Emily, from a spec perspective, any challenges here, or is this doable? Getting the specs updated and in the ballot in the right time by July 2nd?
I think is yeah, we're not sure. Is I think is since Quarkus is driving that, I think the folks work on the spec. Anyway, for OpenAPI, is Michael and Andrew Ross from IBM are working on it. So that would be in the small array OpenAPI input. I think that may be it. So it's we have to double check with the OPI OpenAPI folks.
So if you could check
Telemetry,
with them,
yeah,
I'll check with Sergey on JWT.
JWT, yeah,
Yeah, how's telemetry looking?
yeah. I think for telemetry, I think Quarkus uses its own telemetry. I don't know is
Well,
what's
I'm talking about a
the
spec from a spec perspective, right? Because this is
yeah,
so finally, I think.
but the spec cannot do release if someone if there's no runtime to stand up
True,
and say,
true.
yeah, I tested TCK or passed. Cannot
Okay.
release without a compatible implementation for the spec.
Okay, so I can reach out to Roberto on all of these
Yeah.
from an implementation perspective. And from a 7.2 top level spec, I mean, that's not hard to do, except for the compatible implementation. So I can work on the actual spec text and get that updated. Okay, we got some AIs to do here. Any, in fact, let me, hold on, go to my note app. Sorry, I gotta find the right browser. Let me take an AI to myself here before. Um, okay, there we go. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm back. Oops, let me bring my right browser to the front. Okay, that's all I got there. Any other comments? Okay, I mean, generally speaking, I think we're in good shape unless something comes back as a yellow or red flag from the Quarkus team. Okay, Emily, you want to chat about the tutorial?
Yeah. So yesterday I spent quite a bit of time to review a few PRs. or fault tolerance, telemetry, yeah. And also merge a couple infrastructure related PRs. So there's still some outstanding PRs to be reviewed. The GraphQL one and the reactive messaging one. This we need some folks to review.
I can ask Clement on the reactive messaging one to see if he has cycles or someone to delegate it to.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And maybe I will send a private message to Keto to see whether he can review GraphQL. And also maybe oh yeah, I will log a issue on the GraphQL there and then tell the folks to come to MicroProfile tutorial to review that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're close. And on yesterday's marketing call, we chatted with Ryan about how, here, let me just do this real quick. Which screen is my mouse on? There we go. If you look at the current page, one of the things we're talking about is adding maybe a second button here that says tutorial, right? That'll link straight to the tutorial. Also talked about maybe having tutorial as a top level um,
Yeah.
item here, although we kind of like the idea of putting tutorial here. And then when you actually click on a release and you go to the release, um, having the tutorials placed somewhere prominently on each release page, say, so they can click on it and go look at the release. The tutorial related to that release. Emily, do you
Yeah.
have any thoughts on that? Because you were on the call too.
Yeah. And also the other thing is right now, John, you click on the compatible. So now it's currently it says compatible. So we are going to rework this web page. Instead of saying compatible implementation, we said MicroProfile 7.1. And then you have this 7.1, and then the content will not change. Compatible implementation will still be listed. So this page is directly dedicated for a particular release, as John said, and then here we can easily add a button tutorial. So it's this page will be the landing page for each individual releases. So I think this is a good thing.
Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, that was a good idea to bring that up too. And then the other topic related to this is we were bouncing around the idea of using AI to update future releases of the tutorial. So I still have on my want to do list using AI to update the code to use Quarkus in addition to Liberty um, as a tutorial implementation. And that was going to be my kind of foray. It's a way for me to be better at using AI to kind of, vibe code or whatever, right? To help code. And then we were also talking about using AI to update to tutorial text as well, right? So like these releases are pretty minor. And so a lot of it's going to be updating tutorials to say, 7.1 to 7.2, right? AI would be able to figure that out pretty easily. Trying to get AI to write, an entire chapter on maybe a new spec would be more challenging. But I would reach out, personally, I would reach out to Marcus Eisel on it because he releases a blog every day with sample code and everything, and he does it using AI. And so I'll be very curious, right? He's got a lot of experience in creating the right prompts and stuff to generate um, the right level of, you know, technical expertise or maybe summarizing and writing, maybe writing a chapter. He might be able to help out with that a lot. He might even find it curious enough to do it himself, and we could learn from that. So, So just an FYI that we're kind of looking at that as well. Um, and I think that's really all the topics I wanted to cover today. Are there any additional topics people wanted to cover?
The other thing is, again, FYI. So for the MicroProfile starter, it's been done. I don't think anybody volunteered to host the starter. So with that, I think we will not going to put it up in the cloud again, because also there's a runtime also have their own starter. I think is we will have this static page. Maybe it's just a display various starters, so we can display a static
Mhm.
page and list the runtime starters. So I think probably that's the better thing is, for example, Liberty Quarkus. If Payara has a start page, we can also point us to Payara and some other runtime. So that's I think so far that's probably the plan, the feasible plan. Yeah.
Yeah, so Alfonso, you had stated, I don't know how old this is, I can't remember, about updating it. You were thinking about getting involved in that. Are you going to have cycles for that, or should we take the approach that Emily recommended?
Yeah, I think we will go with the approach Emily said because
Okay.
we currently have our starter, so we are including server and micro, so I think that's the good way to go.
Okay.
So can I ask what happened with the starter page? I guess I haven't been there in a while. There's no hosting for it?
Yeah, I think what happened is Cesar, back when he was a Red Hat employee, was using uh, Red Hat to host the starter in, was it in AWS, I think? Um, he's left the company, the entire, Quarkus team and, Red Hat Java kind of stuff moved over to IBM. So there's no one there to kind of move that forward.
Okay.
So it kind of
Um,
expired.
oh, so if I tried to go to it now, it wouldn't exist,
I think there's just
Yeah.
yeah,
or an old
it's a
version.
page that says, yeah, construction.
Yeah. So
Oh, that's
nobody
kind of
thinking about that, nobody has even noticed. So that's clear
right.
means that nobody use it. And also this is hosted on AWS. So it's the the token and etc. So there's no funding for it. So
Yeah, I
so
mean, I
probably
think I've
now,
stated this in the past. I was never a
Yeah.
fan of the microprofile starter because I would never link to it. I would rather point to my product's implementation, starter implementation, as opposed to the microprofile starter,
so
right?
in the beginning, I think is was created for education purpose. Now it's a
Mhm,
matured product, and then different runtime has already provided their own starter. At
mhm,
that time, I think when we have this starter, I think probably a few runtime don't have their own starter, and then folks
mhm,
ask for the education and etc. So it was created for
mhm.
that purpose. It's
Yeah, good
not
point.
for production use anyway. So
All right. I'm gonna have to go dig through my notes. When Reza and I got together last October, we went through the Jakarta EE starter page so that, I can, become really familiar with it and ultimately, work on it some more. And um, we did a lot of testing and all that. But I guess I, I, I forget who Reza used to host the Jakarta EE starter page. I don't know. I could try to find that out and maybe, have, if there's interest to have it live again. I don't know. I mean,
Well,
when I
someone
used it,
would have to keep it up to
yeah,
date, right? That's the challenge is
right.
somebody would have to keep it up to date.
right. And I think last week's meeting or the weekend or the week before, I think I had asked if it was along the same lines as the Jakarta EE starter page, if it's very similar in structure and using velocity templates and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
I
If
haven't seen the Jakarta one in a long time, but I kind of feel the
yeah,
same way about the Jakarta starter. I would rather point to a product's implementation of a starter because um, the implementation starters, I think, provide a more broad set of capabilities, right, than what the Jakarta one would or the MicroProfile one would, right? They're going to be constrained to whatever the spec is. Whereas the product implementation is going to get into all these other third-party library supports or whatever, right? Additional capabilities a product has. Um, but mainly it's like I would rather have the eyeballs go to my product for that kind of thing as opposed to a
no,
working
okay.
group
Yeah, I
level
see what you're
thing.
saying. Yeah. Yeah.
That's my
also,
personal.
yeah, also I'm interested in knowing the stats for the Jakarta E starters. I don't
That's a good point.
know who is using it and for what
Right.
purpose. And yeah, and then we can work out. But
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
so all the
Yeah.
code will be in the MP starter. And if anyone interested, they can still clone to their personal
Oh.
machine and stand
Mhm.
up, and also can do some work as well. So it's
Right.
can stand up locally, just not host it publicly. That's all. If we can figure out, Michael, if you can figure out Jakarta E starter, and then there's a lot usage, and maybe is find out whether the same place can also host a MicroProfile starter, and then we can come back to discuss again. I think it's nothing will be
Okay.
deleted per se, but we just put on hold for the time being. Well, when you get your grip on the Jakarta EE, and then maybe it's yeah, something can be borrowed from there.
Yeah, I'll do some digging and whatnot. And what you said, Emily, about how many people are using the Jakarta EE starter. It's the Jakarta EE Learn website. A lot of the tutorials there or the guides actually start with that, with the Jakarta EE starter, and that's I had wanting to build a Jakarta EE workshop where you start with the starter and then you add as you go to highlight certain specs. So I don't know if Tarun has done that with the MicroProfile tutorial or not.
So
I
Tyrone,
don't,
I think
yeah.
is started with Liberty. Is
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, John, what you say about going to the implementation,
Yeah.
starter page. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's another thing, because the MicroProfile starter was not up to date. So it's
Right.
this
Right.
another
It looked bad.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Now there were some
And
updates to the Jakarta EE starter page, which have not been implemented yet. I think because Reza, did a lot of updates, but um, unfortunately, I can't run Docker on my laptop because it's too old, so I can't test the new changes to Docker. So
you need a
if
new
there's
machine.
if anybody wants to donate a nice Mac, I say that in jest, of course. But yeah, no, I need to replace this thing at some point. But it served me well the last 13 years.
Jeez, 13
But
years. The thing
13
running
years
like
old, and
Windows
this thing,
3.1?
no, it's a Mac. It's a Mac OS, a
Oh,
MacBook Pro. I mean, it's so Now I always had to deal with that Windows crap when I was at Exxon. So
yeah.
but yeah. So anyway, but yeah, hopefully the Jakarta E starter can be updated soon, at least production.
Okay. All right. Any other topics? 3, 2, 1. All right. All right. Awesome, everyone. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you hopefully next week at the technical call.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Sounds good, guys. Take care.